Hello, I'm Carla and this is Stay Stitching. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers and to those who come back and say kind things. I truly appreciate you. Today we're going to talk about some things for Mayfield Fabric and Supply. It's very exciting. I told you a week ago that we had our website up. It isn't done. We don't have our designer. She's not finished with our logo yet, but she's still working on that. But I did do a fabric buy, and so I have all that coming in, and that should be in a week or so, and I'll be so excited to show you what all I got. So today I have all vintage stuff, nothing new to show you, and I'm going to start off with a few vintage patterns. Now I only have 5 to show you because, like I said in the other video, they do take a long time to check through and make sure that all the parts and pieces are there. So one thing I wanted to explain about Mayfield Fabric and Supply is that we're going to be using the most eco-friendly shipping and packaging things that we can find. And as I was doing research for that, I happened to stumble across a Colorado company. I think they're called Enclose. And the reason why I wanted to show you this today is because the vintage patterns will be coming in these little envelopes so that they can get to you safe and sound. And also they're a nice place to keep them for storage. So these are recycled flap and seal bags. They're made from 100% recycled content. They're durable and moisture resistant. They're recycled and recyclable. So these can go straight into your recycling bin, and they're made in the USA. And so if you're not into all that, that's okay. I just wanted to share with you that we are into it, and we're going to do our best to not allow our business to contribute to the problems that we have right now in the world with plastic primarily. Okay, now this is going to be fun because in this little box I have the patterns that I'm going to show you today. And I'm going to start here with this little one here. This is 8254. I don't know who it's by. It's an apron pattern. And it's just adorable. All of the patterns that I'm showing you today are from the 40s. And so they are very old. And some of them are in very rough shape. So this pattern will be in this bag. There's a pin here. That pin could have been in there for 50 years. I just love these things and that they've been around for so long, and I'm just in love with them. So one more glance at that beautiful apron. All the parts are here. Everything you need to make this apron. Check out how pretty it is in the back. Can you see that? Isn't that just the cutest? I love that. So these are already in the store, Mayfield.com, mayfieldfabric.com. So they're already there. So you don't have to wait for anything to go check them out. This next one, this is funny. My husband noticed there's a typo here on department. So this is a Marianne Martin pattern, and this is a children's pattern. And it's in this envelope. This is so old that the postage was 1 cent on here. And this one also has a beautiful old pin in the back. And this is for, got to be very careful. Things don't really mildew here in Colorado, but they do get dry, dry, dry. Look how cute that is. So this is a size medium. I don't know a lot about sewing children's clothing, but this is a size medium. Let's put these down here. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. You guys, these dresses are so pretty. And one of the cool things about these patterns is that they're pretty large for vintage patterns. So if you're a larger gal and you have had trouble finding vintage patterns that you didn't have to grade up like 5 inches, you might find something in here that will work for you that you only have to grade up a few inches. They're still incredibly small compared to the pattern size range that we have available today. But if you're starting from the biggest point possible from an era, that's something, right? I mean, that helps. It helps you make sure that you're not distorting any of the design lines or anything if you do have to grade up. So this first one is Simplicity 2414. I hope you guys can see these through the plastic. They're really delicate. I'm trying not to handle them, or I'm trying to handle them as little as possible. This is a size 18.5 with a bust of 37, and it has a beautiful skirt and a little jacket top in short sleeve and long sleeve. It says the dart fitted top is secured with a front button closing. A flared peplum joins the top in a point below the natural waistline. Here's the back. I hope I'm putting these where you can see them. So pretty. Oh my gosh. These are so pretty. I don't know which of these is my favorite. I mean, they're all just absolutely stunning. This one is Simplicity 2428. This is a size 16, bust 34. Isn't it pretty? It looks pretty easy for a vintage pattern. I mean, there's only 5 pieces to this dress. That's crazy town. Let me show you this. I didn't tell you how many pieces were on the other one. 14 pieces for this one. 5 pieces for this one. Pretty little summer dress. Goodness gracious. That is so pretty. Okay. This one is Simplicity 2494, and it's bust 36, hip 39. Oh, it's a 1940s tea dress style. These look good on almost everyone. Seriously, this is a figure flattering dress. All of these are actually. These dresses are made for curves. They help girls who are not as curvy look curvy. They look good on curvy girls. The 40s fashion, it's a womanly style. It was a womanly time in fashion where all the curves were flattered, and this dress certainly does that. You have a flutter sleeve or you have a 3/4 sleeve. This one has 12 pieces. Here's the line drawings. Okay, so those are the vintage patterns that we have available in the store right now. I will slowly be adding more, but it's going to take time because, as I've told you, it's time consuming to go through them and make sure they're all intact. Okay, now let's talk fabric. The last time I did a showing of fabric that we were going to put in the vintage section of Mayfield Fabric and Supply, those were mostly new fabrics. By new, I mean 20 years old at the oldest. Okay, so today I have some more actual vintage stuff to show you. I think all but 2 pieces are vintage, and so I hope that you're excited to see these. Now this top thing, this I just bought because it's really cool fabric. It is actually a tablecloth or a coverlet, but it's really big and it's really beautiful. And so I just love it. And I don't know how vintage this is. I just know that it's really cool. Like, look at this side. There's an animal in there. And there's a lot of it. A lot of this fabric. So, of course, on the website, we will have... I think all of these are already on the website. So if you're interested in any of these, shoot on over there ASAP so that you can pick them up. Yeah, this is just really cool fabric. I would make any kind of... I think that this would be really beautiful in any of the caftans that are in style right now. The Charlie caftan. I think this would be cool in Sew House 7's tea house dress. This might work in a kilo wrap. I think it'd be kind of cool in that. So it would work in any kind of a tunic. It's a little bit, it's a thicker cotton. And so you could definitely make a kimono out of it, but it would be a more substantial kimono. It would be kind of fun for the beach, like to cover up, or on a cool evening. Any kind of caftan or anything like that would be ideal. That's what I would probably do with it. On the other hand, you could also take it and make something fun, like something totally unexpected, like a Betty dress from Sew Over It, with this border print along the full skirted bottom. I mean, how unexpected would that be to have like a 1950s dress made out of this fabric? But that's the kind of weight of fabric that it is, to do something kind of big and or flowy like that. Now this one, I do believe this is vintage fabric. I think this is probably from the 60s. Could be from the 70s. Remember, I'm not an expert at this. I just love fashion and I love fabric. I did not go to textile school. My degree is in journalism. So this is me guessing. You can look at the fabrics and look at what we have online, and I'm not trying to tell you for certain that these are definitely this or definitely that. This is what I'm guessing that they are. And I buy them because they're beautiful and because I think they would make up into really fun garments. So this is a sheer fabric. I should have pulled it out. I have a dress pattern. I think it's McCall's, but it has a sheer dress. It's a shirt dress pattern, and it has a sheer dress and it has a slip dress. And you can make the sheer dress out of eyelet or something like this, and then you make the slip dress to put on underneath it. This would be ideal for that. And then I showed a dress in my last video, and I think I paired it with that, which is already gone, it sold immediately, that beautiful watercolory taffeta-esque fabric. It's a party dress, and it has a big collar, and it also has an overlay situation for the skirt. I have several skirt patterns that have overlays that this would be beautiful for, and there's a lot of this. This is very lightweight. I do not believe that this has ever been washed before. And so it's hard for me to say how much it's going to drape once it's been washed. But it is a very light kind of gossamery fabric. Perfect for the summer. And there's a bunch of it. Now this is an odd little piece that I bought. It's one of my favorites from this bunch that I'm showing you today. This is a wool. I'm assuming this is from the 80s. Or 90s, based on these colors. There's only 1 yard of it here, but it's super wide. This is the width. The selvages are in my hands. And it's gorgeous. It's very thick. It is a very, very thick fabric, and I have not done a burn test, but just instinct and knowing fabric tells me that this is 100% wool. It's itchy. It's not really soft. This is a heavy duty wool. It's probably a coating. What I would do with it, since there's so little of it, there's only 1 yard, I would make a pencil skirt out of this, a lined pencil skirt. And that's the only reason why I got it. For 1 yard, there's not a whole lot you can do with 1 yard of fabric, but with this width, I definitely think you could get a pencil skirt out of it. And I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. What fun colors. There's aqua in there, kind of a tealy aqua. There's purple, there's mauve or dusty rose, and even more fun, there's black and white. This is black and white right through here. So, and there's also a little bit of an olivey brown in there. Yeah, I love this stuff. Okay, this one's a fun one. This one came out of my own stash. Because I'm a bit of a hoarder, I've made a deal with myself that from now on, if I buy a piece of vintage fabric for myself, I have to pull a piece out of my hoard or stash to put in the shop. So I have to let go of something if I'm going to add something, because I have fabric BLE, beyond life expectancy, and I just can't keep filling the house with it. So there is a lot of this one, and it's just beautiful. I would say this would be late 60s, maybe 70s, and it is just a cotton poplin. It would work for any kind of summer dress. It would work for a structured blouse or top. It's not super flowy, but it is super soft. It's not rough. It's very nice. This is really pretty fabric. And the colors are like a rusty orange, a corally red, yellow, and olive green. And then that's all gray, grayish, black in there. I love it. That's so pretty. Great summertime fabric. This next one is another summertime fabric. There's only a yard of this, but it's so pretty. And I think this is a cotton Swiss dot. A lot of Swiss dots. This one is much drapier and much softer than a bunch of the other, because I buy vintage Swiss dot whenever I find it because I love it. I think it's charming as all get out. But I think that this one is cotton. And a fun thing about this one is it has 2 dots. I don't know if you can see that. 2 dots together instead of just one. It's the cutest thing. And of course, this is my absolute favorite color. And there's 1 yard or thereabouts of this. And I think I have not made the Ogden cami. It's way too bare for me. I couldn't go out in public wearing that. It's just too bare for me. But I think this would make a cute Ogden cami-esque type top. So if you love to make those, if you're one of the girls who are on the Ogden cami train, but you also like a little bit of vintage flair in your wardrobe, this darling little thing would be perfect. So there's that. This one, there's a lot of fabric here, yards and yards and yards. And this is a standard kind of a cotton kettle cloth. And again, I think this is from the 60s, maybe the 70s, but this just kind of feels late 60s to me. I don't know. It's got that somewhat colonial vibe, and I know that was super popular in the 50s. But anyway, I do believe that this is a true vintage fabric, and the weave on it is interesting. It's almost like a file weave, but it's not. Oh, another reason that I am pretty sure that this is vintage is it's only a yard wide. A lot of vintage fabrics, not only do you look at, what they look like, but if you check their yardage, almost no one's making fabric that's 36 inches wide right now. Maybe some Japanese fabrics and stuff. But this is a beautiful fabric, and there's tons of it. And the colors in there are a beautiful gold. This is kind of a bluey Kelly green, burgundy. These flowers are black, and then it's got a creamy white background. And like I said, there's enough here for 2 dresses probably. And I don't cut vintage fabric, so this will be listed as one total piece, even if it's 10 yards, which it might be. There's a lot of this here. I list it all as one piece because it just feels kind of like sacrilege to me to cut it. It lasted this long without being cut. Somebody was going to make curtains or something she was going to redo her kitchen, or she needed to make dresses for all of her daughters or something, and it survived all this time in one piece, and it's going to leave this house in one piece. So there's that one. And then, I'm waking my computer back up. I have a timer going there so I don't talk you guys to death. I figure if this giant stopwatch is playing right in my face, it can remind me to maybe stay on topic. So, all right, this one is a bright, fresh, is this directional? No, it's not directional. I thought at first it might be directional, but it isn't. And this one is more, it's a rougher weave. This one is like a linen weave. I don't think it is linen. But it has slubs in it. And this, and again, I don't believe this has ever been washed. I think this still has its sizing on it from manufacturer. And so does this one. I don't believe this one's ever been washed. Oh, there's a vintage label on here, look. I never take stuff like that off. I just think it's cool. This one still has its sizing on it, and so does this one. And I think that I think this one still has its sizing on it. And this one does too. So right now, this is very stiff. I mean, it is stiff. It's very crisp. So, see, did you see that? Watch that bounce. So, this one has not been washed. Any kind of dress that, like if you have a poofy skirt and a fitted bodice, this would be ideal for that. I don't think this is going to work for flowy stuff, although, you know, you wash linen and it turns into a totally different thing. So that might be the case with this one as well. But I think this one is going to maintain a crisp hand. It's just so pretty. I think this one's probably from the 70s. This one could be 60s as well, but probably from the 70s. It's beautiful. This is kind of a muted olivey green, like an apple green. And then this is a darky mustard. This is a nice yellow, and this is a gold, a mustardy gold. And then the background is fairly close to white. Okay, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I have enjoyed talking to each and every one of you. It has been a real joy and a pleasure to become a part of the YouTube sewing community. And I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you like my videos, then you can give them a thumbs up or subscribe. That would be fantastic. I don't really pay attention to all of those like analytics, so I'm not sure I would know if you did or not, but that's what everybody says at the end of their YouTube videos, right? So I'm just trying to do what everybody else does. Anyway, have a fantastic day.